What's up, internet peoples? I'm Matt. Welcome back to the Southern Motor Works channel, and today we're back at it again with our 1998 Mercedes-Benz C230 over here, W202, and we're finally back to it. It's been setting for a little bit since we did the respray on the roof and the hood and the fender over there. We're finally getting around to wet sanding and buffing. So in this video we're going to be showing you exactly how to do that, how to do a cut and buff on it. We're going to start out with 1000 grit sandpaper, work our way up, and then eventually we'll use rubbing compound, polishing compound, and a probably high-tech yellow wax on it. So we're going to show you all the process from start to finish here. We should be able to get a pretty decent result after the end of it. We've been a little busy on some other stuff. As y'all seen in one of the last videos there, we brought home a new project car, got our old project German tow out there up and going again, back on the road, back towing stuff. Brought home that BMW pulling like 5,500 pounds, did excellent. And then we've been working on enclosing our garage here, as y'all can see. All right, still got some cleanup to do from that, but running out of time. So don't want to get too far behind on some other projects. So we're going to go on ahead and jump in to this cut and buff on the C-Class here. We're just going to do a little bit at a time. It's not going to be a super, complicated process. It's mostly just, a lot of tedious stuff. Make sure you're getting it right. Don't rush it. Don't, try to go too fast on stuff. Just, take your time, get it right. So we're going to do a little bit at a time. Like I said, we're going to be starting out with like 1000 grit sandpaper. So we'll cut the whole thing on that first. And then we'll let that dry and move on to the next one, so on and so forth. So it's a tedious process, it's a little time consuming, but the end result is going to be awesome looking. So we'll take y'all along, show y'all exactly how we do it. Like I said, I've done this a few times before. I usually get a pretty darn good result. So if you can read a label and the reflection on it once you're done, I think that's pretty darn good. So yeah, so let's get after it. We'll show y'all what sort of sandpaper and compounds and all that we're going to be using. All right, so this is what we're going to be going with here. We're going to start out obviously with a 1000 grit. These are all just a 3M brand. There's a few different brands that make this stuff like this, but this is just the one that we happen to pick up. So we'll cut the whole thing with 1000 grit here, and then we'll move up to the 1500 grit, the 2000 grit, and then finally the 3000 grit. And all of these are going to be wet sanded, so we're going to be using water to soak down the area, soak down the sandpaper, and we're going to be using water to do the entire thing. And then you're going to wipe it clean with some water in between, and then let it kind of dry or whatever, so you can see where you're at, and then move on to the next one. And then when it comes time to do the rubbing compounds and stuff like that, we're going to be going with the turtle wax rubbing compound here. First off, we are going to be using an electric buffer for this. We'll get into that a little bit later once we get to that step, but first we're going to be using the rubbing compound, then we're going to move to the polishing compound, and then finally we're going to coat the whole thing in this high-tech yellow wax. This stuff is amazing. I love it. It creates such a good barrier over the outside. It's a little pricey. I think that stuff's like 20 bucks a bottle, but it's well worth it, trust me. The rest of the stuff's pretty reasonably priced. I think we got this stuff from Walmart, except for this pack up here, extra 2000 grit. They only had one, so we picked that up from Home Depot. So it's the same 3M 2000 grit, wet or dry, so it should be fine. I mean, 2000 grits, 2000 grits, as long as it's wet or dry, you know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, that's what we're going to be using. So we got the night's cooling down a little bit, not so god awful hot out here in the panhandle at the moment. Got this little fan going, so let's start getting after it. We'll probably just show y'all a little time lapse here, and then we'll break back in once we finish and show y'all what sort of finisher you should be looking for, what you can expect after that 1000 grit, what it's going to look like, so that you don't go too far, because if you go too far, there ain't no going back after that. So we'll just kind of speed up this footage a little bit, put a little tunage behind it, you know what I'm saying? Let y'all enjoy what we're doing here, all right? So cue the music. All right, now what you're gonna wanna do is soak this down real well. You wanna soak down the area a little bit. We are leaving our masking tape in place from where we painted it, just to protect the edges and whatnot of the factory paint, because we don't want to be sanding too far over and hit that. So we'll leave the masking tape in place. So So yeah, like I said, we're gonna start out with the roof here. We're gonna soak this down on both sides, soak down the work area, and then general pressure. You don't want to dig into this too hard. You just want to go over the area one good time. I like to do kind of swirls, transition between, you know, back and forth motions. Just don't stay in one area for too long. You'll go too deep. All right. All right, so I don't know if y'all can really tell on there. Yeah, I guess you can see it on the camera. You can see where we've hit, where we haven't hit over there. All right, so basically if you look real close at it, and I don't know if the camera's gonna pick this up or not, we're basically knocking down the tops of the orange peel and the imperfections. So they go like this originally, and we're cutting them in half. All right, so that we knock them all down to where it's one level basically. And once you get done with your first layer, you should notice like a haze like this. That's what you're looking for. If y'all can see there, should be hazy looking. That's what you're gonna look for out of your first wipe off, you know, your first swipe with the 1000 grit. It's gonna look like a nice haze. But if you run your hand across it, you can already feel it's much smoother than the other side that we haven't done yet. All right, so now we're gonna go on and head over to the other side, start hitting that one with the 1000 grit next. All right, so we're gonna go on ahead and move on to the hood next, and we'll show y'all what we're looking at over the whole thing. That bumper's still a little rough, but we did the best we could for what we had at the moment. Do a better job later on at some point. All right, hood's looking pretty good. Couple spots there we were able to minimize with the wet sanding. Again, that spray paint did not lay down that great, so definitely won't be using that stuff again, but it's getting there. It's getting there. You can already see it's getting a more even sheen to it top to bottom. Let's go ahead and hit this fender for the night real quick. All right, so that's basically what we're gonna do for the first night here, and that's the sort of sheen that you're looking for on it. Let me get another light here real quick. So that's the sort of haze that you're looking for on it. I don't know if y'all can see there. It's hard to tell in a silver car. It's a lot easier to tell if it's like a black car or something, but you can kind of see the haze there across it. Maybe a little better up top here with better lighting. That's what you're looking for out of the first night. Or first, you know, round, I should say. That's our 1000 grit. So tomorrow when we get home from the day job, we're going to be moving on up to the 1500 grit. We'll do the same thing, but for tonight we're going to go on ahead and let this dry off, so tomorrow we can really see where we're at. It's important to be able to let it dry 100% so that you can see that haze and see where you're at and see what you need to hit and what's good to go ahead and move on to the next area or next, you know, grit. So y'all know what I mean. So we'll see y'all tomorrow afternoon. All right, so it's following day. We're back at it again. Today we're going to be hitting it with the 1500 grit sandpaper. And that is going to be, that's going to be this one right here, 1500 grit. So same process as yesterday. We're going to wet everything down, wet the sandpaper down, give this a nice once or twice over with the 1500 grit, and then let that dry overnight. So all right, so that's after the 1500 grit there. Y'all can see the shine difference already. It's really just smoothing this out, gonna make it really reflective. Make it look nice. All right, keep going. we're back. Had to go get some more water, grab another piece of sandpaper. All right, let's move on to the hood now. Alright, so that's going to do it for the night here. As y'all can see, we're already starting to get some shine to it. Starting to get some reflection in there. Not too shabby. She's getting there. She's getting there. That's only the second round of sandpaper. It's already looking quite a bit better. You can, like I said, see the sheen on it now. We're getting some shine. Not looking too bad. Freaking bugs. Get out of here. Alright, so we're gonna let this dry overnight. Then tomorrow when we get home from the day job, we'll hit it with the 2000 grit, and we'll probably go ahead and do the 3000 grit tomorrow too and knock it out, because that one won't take very long at all. But it's getting there. It's coming along nicely. We got a little bit more work to do, so we'll see y'all tomorrow after the day job. Alright, so it's following day. We're back out here with the old C230, getting ready to hit it with the 2000 grit now. So we're moving on up in the grits. It's getting mighty smooth over here, y'all. Mighty smooth. Alright, so that's going to do it for the night. So we're done with the 2000 grit. It's getting there. It's looking pretty darn good. You can see some of the shine really starting to develop on there. That's even without the polish so far. So tomorrow when we get home from the day job, we'll continue on with the 3000 grit. We're going to let this set and dry overnight so we can really see where we're at before we get onto that. And yeah, so we'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all stick tight. It's getting there. It's getting there. Alright, so it's following day, final day of the sandpaper process at least. Today we're going to be moving on to the 3000 grit. Now this one's slightly different. It's more like a, let me bust it out here real quick. The 3000 grit is almost more like a sponge. See the pattern, or the backing rather there? And it's like a thick deal like this. But we're going to be using it in the same fashion. It's going to be, you know, wetting down the surface, wetting down the sanding paper here, or sanding sponge I guess in this case, and this is really going to start to remove those fine swirl marks that you can see there in it. And then the rest of that stuff's going to get wiped out whenever we hit it with the rubbing compound and polishing compound and the wax and whatnot. That'll really glaze the surface, you know. But this is our next step for the day, so this is what we're going to do. Let's get some water out, get this thing soaked up, get her done. Alright, so that's going to do it for the 3000 grit. Came out pretty darn nice. You can really start to see the shine coming along on it. So that's going to do it for tonight. So we're going to let this dry. Tomorrow we'll come out here, see what it looks like, see if there's any other spots we need to hit, and get started on the buffing. So y'all stick tight. Alright, so it's final day with the wet sanding and buffing here on the old C230. So yesterday we finished up with all of the wet sanding. We did 1000 grit, 1500 grit, 2000 grit, and then finally 3000 grit. And it's coming out pretty darn good. You can see the shine really getting started on it. So today we're going to be moving on to the buffing aspect of it. We're going to be polishing with an electric buffer using rubbing compound and one sort of buffing pad, and then we're going to be moving on to a polishing compound and another sort of buffing pad, and then finally high-tech yellow wax to really bring out the shine on this rattle can paint job here. But first, what we got to do, I think the daggum cat's been sleeping on there overnight, so we got to blow this off with the air hose real quick, make sure there's nothing in there that we're going to be dragging across the paint whenever it comes time to start buffing it. And even after doing this, we will still be keeping an eye on it. I mean, we are in an basically old barn area here, carport, whatever. So there's bugs like that little guy and that little guy. Make sure that we keep off the paint. So as we're going through, we'll keep an eye on things. We'll brush them or wipe them off with our microfiber here just to make sure we're not getting anything, you know, in the paint right before we buff it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be using here is just our electric buffer. This is just a Harbor Freight special. I think I paid like 60 bucks for it. Not too bad. Should do the job just fine. It's a 6-inch buffer. Now we're going to be using rubbing compound. This is just the turtle wax rubbing compound. You can use a bunch of different brands. They're all about the, about the same grit pattern and whatnot. So this is what you're looking for, rubbing compound to start out with, and we're using a medium cut foam pad here. All right, so we are going to be using a step ladder so that we can get up here a little better and at the proper angle. So you're just going to stick your pad right over the top here. Try to center it as best you can. Press it down, make sure it's Velcro stuck on there real well, just like that. You take your rubbing compound and give it a good shake before you use any of it. And you're going to take this and apply it directly to the pad here, because like I've said before, if you put it on there and just turn the machine on and go to try to get to work on it, it's just going to sling it everywhere. Same thing if you put it on here and just flip the machine on, it's going to just spray it everywhere. So what you want to do is put some on there and come over here like this and just kind of rub some in, and that'll keep it from doing that. All right, let's get after it. Alright, stop it there for a minute. Hit it with the old microfiber and see where we're at. Make sure you got a nice clean microfiber for this too. Alright. I don't know if y'all can see that on camera or not. Let me take a look here. That's just the rubbing compound. This isn't the polishing compound or anything yet, but yeah, look at that shine. All right, you can really see the difference between the two sides there where we stopped. Look at that, that's the difference there. All right, we're gonna move on, hit this little strip right here above the windshield and above the passenger side front door here. You don't want to go too far with any of these. You don't want to You don't want to take it too far with the polish or with the rubbing compound, especially the rubbing compound or the polishing compound or any of this stuff, because you can burn through your clear coat or paint or whatever, and then that is not going to end well. So what you want to do is just get it to where it's shining like that. We're not, you know, this is just spit shining here, you know what I'm saying? We're not doing any material removal. We've already done that with our wet sanding. So this is just polishing what we left behind. All right, so we're gonna start a little bit in here. All right, let's set our buffer over here off to the side for a second. Get our microfiber again. Oh my goodness. All that crap from the masking tape is just blowing everywhere. All right, so y'all see what the process is gonna be here. We're gonna buff out the rest of this, put some music behind it. Y'all sit back and enjoy, all right? All right, so that's the first layer done with the rubbing compound. Came out not too shabby, even the old bumper down there. The hood didn't come out quite as good as what we expected, but we'll reserve judgment until after the polishing compound and the wax and all. The shine's getting pretty darn good though. All right, we're gonna take a break for a second, let the old GoPro. Oh wait, I got stuff all over the lens, I just realized. That's better. All right, we're gonna take a break for a second, let the old GoPro cool down. It's pretty warm out here, and then we'll be back and we'll hit the polishing compound next. All right, so we're all done with that step. Everything's cooled down. Temperature's a little less out here. So what we're gonna do now before we go any further, because we wanna hit the entire car with the polishing compound that we're about to use. So we're gonna go on ahead and pull all the masking tape and all that crap off, get that out of the way, and blow it off with the air hose real good, and then we'll start buffing with the polishing compound this time. Try to make the whole thing have more of an even shine, you know what I'm saying? All right, so it's a new day. We're back out here with the old C230. Oy, the last thing y'all will have seen yesterday is we had just finished with the rubbing compound, buffing with the rubbing compound, and we were getting ready to take all the masking tape off and hit the entire car with polishing compound. Oh man, well, let me tell you what, so that didn't work out. I mean, we got it done eventually, but getting the masking tape off, the masking tape was covered in silver paint, obviously, as happens, and it got everywhere whenever we were peeling it off. So what ended up happening is we ended up spending the next like 2 or 3 hours out here just picking off flakes and trying to clean up the paint as much as we could, so that whenever we go to polish, all that stuff's not in the paint and getting dug in there and scratching everything up. And then on top of that, because it's been a while since we did that, all that masking tape set out in the Florida heat here in the summertime and baked on the car. So guess what was left behind? Nothing but a whole mess of tape adhesive goo, if you will. So we spent hours with the old goo gun here and a cloth scrubbing to get all that stuff off the trim and the glass and everything. And I think I got just about all of it. There's a couple more little spots on the glass and whatnot, I need to scrape with a razor blade, but for the most part it's good to go. So now we can go on ahead and move forward with finally polishing the entire car. So we're going to be covering the entire car, even the original paint. We're going to give it a quick once over with the buffer and some polishing compound, and then we'll hit the whole thing with some wax. So yeah, that should get her where we want her to be. Of course, it's hot as all get out here. Yeah. So anyways, all right, let's get to it. All right, so just so I can show y'all what we're going to be going with here, we have a universal finishing foam pad, fine cut and ultra high finish. That's what we're going to be going with. These are just the Harbor Freight specials in case y'all don't recognize them. And same as the rubbing compound, we're going to be going with a turtle wax polishing compound here. This stuff works pretty darn good, and yeah, should get us a pretty good finish. So as you can see, it's a little bit softer foam than the last one, and same thing, just going to apply it on there as evenly as possible. Make sure it's on there in every direction. All right, cool. Take your polishing compound, you want to shake it up real good. We're going to start over here on like the hood, I reckon. All right, so same kind of pattern as before. We're just not going to dig as deep or do it for as long on this one. Getting caught under the front tires. Okay, so you just want to kind of rub that in, same as the other one. Kind of get it all around somewhat evenly. All right, get to it. All right, that's all we're gonna do there, I do believe. But before I call it, let's take us a nice new microfiber cloth. Wipe this off here, see what we're looking like. Looking good, bud. Not too shabby. Ain't perfect, but not too shabby. Smooth as a whistle. Not too shabby at all. Alright, while we're on this side, we'll go ahead and hit this fender here. Woo! Hope y'all can see that shine on there. Not too bad. Oh yeah. All right, let's get this bumper real quick here. Whoo! The old plastic bumper there came out nice and shiny. Goodness. Alright, we'll be right back. Gotta run down to the gas station real quick. I think we'll take the old 50-year-old Volvo down. Yeah, I think so. Alright, be right back. All right. gonna do it for tonight. Got the whole thing polished, top and bottom, old paint, new paint, everything polished. Even hit the trim work, it shined that up pretty good too. All right, as you can see, pretty decent amount of shine on there. Not too shabby. The hood's not quite as shiny as I would like it, but it is what it is. It's just gonna have to do for this rattle can job. So tonight we're gonna let this set. We'll get back out here tomorrow morning, hit it with our high-tech yellow wax, get it out in the sun, see what it really looks like out there. So y'all don't go nowhere. All right, so final step of the car here. We got the girl out here. We're going to finish putting wax on here. We got everything hit with the rubbing compound with the buffer, the polishing compound with the buffer. Now we're gonna hand wax it with our Meguiar's high-tech yellow wax, professional high-tech yellow wax over here. So we're gonna do this, then we'll get it out in the sun, as y'all can see, which is plenty bright enough here today in Florida, and see what she really looks like out there. All right, so I'm just gonna be stealing the foam applicator here from another type of Meguiar's wax that I've got. We're not gonna be using that today, but this applicator will work just fine. It's a nice soft foam. We ain't gotta worry about it digging too deep, putting any scratches in anything. So, you wanna shake your wax up really well. And we will, you're probably gonna need the step stool. We'll start up here on the roof and work our way down into the hood, the trunk lid, and then the sides. So, okie doke. Okay, so I'm just gonna rub it in like this, and you're gonna come behind me and just wipe it off.
Does it matter what side I use?
No, it's the same thing either way. Just use one side, and then like halfway through, we'll swap it to the other side. That way we can get like fresh, you know, fresh cloth, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep, just wipe it off like that until it looks glassy. All right, sorry about that, y'all. The GoPro turned off there. Got too hot out here. All right, just getting rid of our applicator pad. The Carnauba wax smells so good, Olivia. Does anybody else love the smell of Carnauba wax? They should make like a men's cologne out of that, you know what I'm saying? I'd wear that thing everywhere. All right, so we're done with the waxing. We're just gonna go through the microfiber and make sure we polish up some of the trim pieces and whatnot, little details here and there, and then we'll go on ahead and get this backed out of here, see what it's going to look like. Here dodging rain, but we finally were able to get it backed out of here. Got it all buttoned up. Goodness gracious, that thing is shining like a diamond in a ghost rear end, you know what I'm saying? Whew, not too bad, not too bad. All right, so as you can see, we got her all shined up 100%. That's rubbing compound, polishing, wet sanding with like 5 different grits all the way up to 3,000 grit. Then finally, rubbing compound with a buffer, polishing compound with a buffer, and high-tech yellow wax by hand over here, wax on, wax off. It turned out not too darn shabby for a rattle can job. I mean, is it perfect? No, there's some spots, you know, that you can kind of see there. It's not perfect, but for the first time since 2018, she's all together, all one color, not wrecked, you know, not too shabby. It's not a perfect color match, but this is just a temporary kind of fix. eventually we're going to get this in the spray booth and we'll paint it all 100% with Mercedes-Benz color code paint so that it all matches 100%. But for right now, it's up and running and it's going to work perfectly fine. All right, so that's going to do it for this episode of Southern Motorworks. Olivia, what do you think? Does it look pretty good?
I like it.
Yeah? All right. Like I said, it's finally one color again and not wrecked and twisted and tore up and rusted for the first time in 7 years. So not too darn shabby for a rattle can job. So hopefully this helps some of y'all out. Y'all can use the same cut and buff process on any sort of rattle can job or whatever. Hopefully it'll help somebody shine up some old project like this. Like I said, that's going to do it for this episode of Southern Motorworks. I appreciate y'all hanging out. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this sort of content so that you can see all the goings-on that we got going on here at the old homestead. We got plenty of projects to go. Next video up, I think, is going to be... What's going to be next? Next video up, I think, is going to be redoing the cooling system on the old Swedish Gentleman, our 74 Volvo 164E. So make sure, like I said, y'all like and subscribe so you can get alerts whenever we're working on crazy stuff like that. So anyway, I really appreciate y'all watching and hanging out with us, and we'll catch y'all on the next one. All right, y'all have a good one out there.